city-state versus federal versus international.
I wanted to make sure that everybody was clear on the procedures of these courts and told the history and how it's changed and how these courts will come into play. Not just criminal law or on the state or federal level, but looking at the international criminal courts, from the Hague and, World War II and even the history that you're highlighting.
Islam.
I want to get that clearly so people kind of have a better idea of what we're talking about.
Islam.
Islam. I'd like to remember, you're not failing or passing the consular court questions. Wherever I see there's a weakness, that's where we will address the issue, all right?
Good.
If there's a weakness, we're going to address it because we all must be equally yoked.
That's right.
When we're coming up there, we coming marching together, not, I'm dragging you or you dragging me.
Right.
So, if I ask you, about Great Seal, all right? I have not given you an explanation of Great Seal because, I've got some of the books because the Imperial Divan, I saw everybody said the Imperial Divan, they didn't know what the Imperial Divan is. It's based on the rudder and the sextant. I didn't reveal that, all right? In the questionnaire, all right? And I didn't, and then the elders, the Council of Elders, I saw people saying that the age of 12. No, it's the age of 50. Based on the rudder and the sextant.
Gotcha. Council of Elders.
You have to be 50 to be in the Council of Elders. Now there's other areas where, when we reveal more and more the interworkings of the Imperial Divan, that you will understand, like the categories like Wazir, all right, Mufti, Najib, Hajib, Najib, I forget. Well, no, Nabi, nobody can be that. Nobody can be the Nabi. And nobody really can be the Sultan.
Right.
Please reiterate the color codes.
Yeah, we have color codes for the pheasants too, based on the positions that you take, all right? And then there's seals on the positions that you take. There's a seal, and there will be someone who holds the seals for the government, all right? And so when we come to you to say the Sayaraha, we need these seals based on the knowledge of people's natal charts, all right? She'll seal it, all right? Or birth charts, we'll seal them, all right? There's a Razm. That Razm is the same as notary public, all right? That's the category, all right? There's a Razm. And there's a couple other things that I'm not sharing with you right now, but I do have the document, and I do, as we progress, you'll see where we're going with, these governmental principles, all right?
All right.
All right? Islam, you have a question?
I would like to add to the wisdom, and then continuing with the agenda, because it is a few things that you mentioned is the Araha. Of course, eventually I would love to have a mother counterpart that is based on what I'm doing with the Astrology 101 workshop,
right,
as far as so that people can get it very quickly. So I would like to touch on temple and religion, not to kind of fast forward into the agenda, but since you brought that up, and I do have over the last 3 years, most of the Moors that are there now at House of Reawakening Minds, as well as other Moors across, we're literally across the world. I'm not bragging at all, and disrespectfully. There are a lot of natal charts that I have on file on 3 different computers, as well as emails. So I would love for everyone to be able to really get that astrology down, because it's more than just seeing it a certain way. There are some basics that when you have these basics, what you do in Great Seal will be so easy. Any governmental responsibility, so to speak, or level thereof, will be so easy with these astrology basics.
Islam.
I yield the floor, Islam.
So, I'm going to share this with you, what it is, because we're going to make copies of this and make sure that you get got copies of what we're talking about here, all right? So you understand the positions that you're taking. These are not only positions of honor, but you must pledge allegiance to this because this is our nation. This is what we used to do. This is the ways of our foremothers and forefathers. We got to return to those ways, all right? So these are some of the things. And like I said, the fez that you wear, we will know what position you have.
Makes sense.
All right. Let's see. Let me see if I can go through some of them. Yeah, there's a caliph, there's a hajib, there's an emir, the sayyaraha, the qazi. All right. Then there's a wazir al-rais. That's the treasurer. All right. There is the sutra, the sharif, the razam, the mufti, the wazir, the wali, all right? And those are the basic categories, all right, of the kind of government that we used to do, all right? But like I said...
And this, not to interrupt your wisdom, but this setup, this consular court, the concept is that there will be a consular court for every region, obviously falling under maybe one big head. I don't help me with that. So we will go back to the Susquehannock Moroccan territory and set up our own consular court.
Well,
is that the concept? I just want to.
Islam. Let Nagi explain it, and I'll give my thoughts. All right, go ahead, Nagi. You have the floor.
So we are on our last estate for starters, which is, it's given at the board seven. Alright.
Just long.
It's given us over, the outline, the boundaries, chapter 47 and circle 7. So we're eventually talking about North, South, Central, and the 20 islands. What we're totally more concerned, of course, is how we know is North America, all right, or this portion of North America, what we call the states.
Okay.
Each state is a province.
Did you hear that? Did you
I got it.
Let me repeat that.
I got it. Each state is a province. I got it.
Each state is a province. What we established on a more local level with the other provinces are counties. And that county government political system is de jure.
Got it.
Nature is long, though in character and in practice, Islam. So it's about taking that basis and that understanding and going back to that ancient mindset of our own ancient forefathers and making some adjustments as the prophet said, reinforce and make changes. So where we know that it is an aboriginal indigenous name or boundary, we will observe it as best we can and work within that in our own local mappings. On a broader level, the provinces, again, we will have to come to some designation based on where you are located as to what, the people of that area want to name their province. All right, and be identified as. And it will be in line with, our ancient mores and customs. And again, further by the man's lease, and I yield the floor temporarily.
Islam. Islam, perfectly said.
But I want to add to that, Brother Duke, you are exactly correct, because to add to that, every temple that has been established by the prophet is the same as the so-called quote-unquote governors of Capitol House. Okay, so we know that the governor's Capitol House is the quote-unquote center or headquarters for the state of whatever their name is, corporation, whereas the diametrical antithesis to that is the Moorish Temple of America.
Islam. Which is why
When looking at it in perspective, the real state, the Moorish Temple of America would be a Delaware Republic, it would be Delaware State Republic when we're dealing with Moorish Temple of America. But if you're dealing with a warden, which is a de facto governor, then you're dealing with the state of Delaware. So I just wanted to add that to Brother Nagi's wisdom, because he's making a very, very vital point.
That's right.
Islam. The floor. Wait a minute. Hold on, recognizes Brother Troy.
I'm gonna yield to Isaiah Eel. Go ahead.
Oh, this is not on this topic. I wanted to, because you were touching on the positions and the color of the so like, I was, I guess, so that was the question from the Juris Council questionnaire from question 98, addressing that piece in the book, in the literature.
Yeah, and like I said, I have not given it out yet, and that would be part of the curriculum. To get back to your question, that would be part of the curriculum, so you understand the significance of wearing that particular fez or turban. All right. All right. Fez or turban. And then when someone sees you with that on, they acknowledge it, because like, you know how the Masons have a you know what they're saying when they do certain things. Just signals, you know, when they grasp your hand, you know the signal. So we will know the signal when I see you with a black fez on. I know that you're a mufti, all right? Okay. And if I see you on Islam.
I want to add to that wisdom. When I was out there at Chicago Corporation, I will say, wearing the one that we know I have on Rebecca as a hotel, my grandmother gifted me that originally, and I have one letter that commemorated. However, being out here for the Chicago Corporation, I will say, I was stopped by two brothers. One asked me a simple question: are you over this jurisdiction? Which means they recognized what the fez, and particularly the color that I was wearing stood for. My answer was yes. And from that point on, he began to divulge all of his information to me.
Islam.
Okay? So now there was another guy who was the head of so-called Illinois State Troopers or whatever. And when he came downstairs and we were visiting the Secretary of State's office down there on LaSalle, near Chicago Corporation, he came downstairs and so was waiting for an escort. He was like, oh, I'm Moorish brothers. Look, John, on your bed. Oh, what's going on, man? Like that. And they say nothing else but that. So yes, I will say that even those people in those secret forms, they will recognize the color or they will tell you what it is.
Yes.
And then if you don't respond appropriately, no one will try to strip you of your regalia.
Islam.
Islam.
A question from the sister, floor recognizes Sister Renee.
All right, so I don't really have too much of a question. We've actually been on this for a really long time, guys. It's four of you, and I'm sure that for the best. Four of you can get together, build your teams up. One thing we were just talking about is being specific about what the cause of law and civics is, because there's other things to go into, whether you're doing classes, whether you're or teaching, like the school, outside of the school, but actually law and civics classes, like the ones we do on weekends and stuff like that. And, what is the house in North Philly? What's the
York House?
Yes. Whether we're at North House or down here, all of those places, there's classes. And then there's the things that you were talking about in law and doing international law and being in the front of that, and then like having offices or having our people stand up as lawyers who are proficient in the law. We are, every single person in here is a lawyer. Not attorneys at law, not attorneys practicing law, but attorneys, like real lawyers. That's us. We are the people who govern and put these laws out. We're going to have to stand up and own that. So there's a lot that you guys have to, got a lot of work ahead of you. Even so much as, will you be there with phone calls? If people have questions from way over there, will you answer their Skype calls? Will you take phone calls? Do you have a number they can call when they are really stressed out and need help? Right? Just things like that as far as government. In moving on ever so slightly, I want to minimize this list just a little bit. I noticed that there was seats of office. Seats of office can be taken off and put in under governmental principles.
Okay.
Very easily. Transportation can be taken off and put under economic development. Very easily. The sick and the shut-in can be taken off and given to the writers. Those are that's the information our people need to get out. The sick and the shut-in, well, between the writers putting it out in the papers and the publications, it'll also go to records. Okay. It'll go to records keeping, so that we have a record of everyone who's sick, everyone who died, all of the ceremonies, all of the wedding obligations, and different things that we have going on. So I will take a couple of these off and give us a little bit of time back. So what is it? 6 seats of office. Where were we? Transportation as 12 can come off, and 8 the sick and shut in. Moving on.
I don't even know how to hang up on this thing.
I just hung up.
All right, Islam, I'm still with you. Because Brother Hassan just walked in, all right? But let me share something also. As committee head, that means you must use your head. Brainstorm. Figure something out. We used to do this before. Use all 5, the 7 things that are in your head. 2 eyes, 2 nostrils, 2 ears, and a mouth. Use those things. Because like it says, out of the Sunday school come the guidance of the nation. And so Sunday is, the day of, hey.
Stop it, amigo.
Let the sun shine on you. Let that bright sunshine open up that pineal gland so that you know that we're about the business of reconciling our differences and being about the business of our Father's work, all right? Because like as Yeshua said, don't you know that I am about the business of my Father? You coming in here and pestering me and bothering me, but we're here to do the work. Let's get this work done. I can imagine how Drew Ali started out in the old Canaanite temple and all, Deuce Ali and all those other ones that are around him at that point. But see, we got to build and brainstorm. Let's brainstorm. Let's get this, you come back and tell me, well, this is what I figured out. This. And like I said, we have the electronic age, so you can send me the information.
There you go.
What you've done. And I'm going to give you 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
All right.
I want something, just something, anything. That you demonstrated that, yes, we are government. We are acknowledging that we are the government. We can govern our own minds. We don't need anybody to govern our minds but ourselves.
Just kind of to the point, back to the point that was on the floor. I wanted to say, and this we were on the point of, location of the brother Nagi.
Yes.
Explain it. And I think I want to emphasize the importance of, hey, this is going to come off ugly, but this is a fact that we don't lose, to be affiliated with some temple. The existing temples, and I'm not talking about the temple of your body, I'm not talking about the temple of your mind. I'm talking about the temples that were established by the Holy Prophet Noble Drew Ali. I think we don't lose sight of that. Even though that there are clear issues with individuals or things in the temple, the temple, our presence in the temple, in the grand scheme of things, and influence in the temple is key.
Islam.
I nominate you for 11.
Islam. Greatly said.
I would like to add to
With the
that.
sign.
Greatly
Because I want the
said.
signs down
Greatly
to
said.
to also come into temple and religion, and the two of you would be great in that.
I would like to add to what Brother Troy is saying. Just recently, I came in contact with some brothers who even said they've been through Adab Chamber with Brother Kenyu Umar Bey out there near Chicago Corporation, like Brother Kuja. Went through that as well. So I just met them near Baltimore Corporation. Now, cleaning up our temples is necessary because they're our regency. So we have to clean them up. The way that we're doing it right now. The way you clean up a situation is you do whatever work needs to be done. You're doing it with a pure heart and sincere intent. And eventually what people will do, they will elect you to a certain position. When you elect people to a certain position, it will remove those that are not carrying out the law.
Islam.
Do you know what I'm saying? So,
I yield to that, but I just want to be real clear. I'm sorry. I want to be real clear. The effectiveness we have is inside the existing temple, not outside shooting BBs.
Islam.
That's what I want to be real clear on. That's my assessment. That's what I see.
Islam.
Islam.
I am an active member and I do pay my dues to the temple. I'm going to be there today, but I ain't going to be there today because I got all this stuff and I'm not carrying all that.
I know about you. We stand holistically. There's a recording going on here.
All right. So yes, everyone should have a temple card. Everyone should have a Moorish temple card, ID card. Everyone.
yes.
This floor recognizes Brother Isaiah.
So I like to second the motion for temple and religion for the Troy.
Oh, all right. All right. So
I second Brother Troy as well.
do you accept? Let's ask him first. course.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We're being very presumptive here, you know?
sorry.
I accept with open arms.
All right, that's not. All right, Brother Troy.
Brother Hassan.
Yeah, because I'll tell you, Brother Troy, when I spoke with the brother and he wanted to meet Friday, I was like, we can meet, but my only interest is cleaning up the temples. I mean, that's what I said in the text message, and I wasn't being rude. I've experienced these brothers near Chicago for a certain amount of months straight, and like Brother Todd just said before, things are kind of ran like gangs. And we're looking to do things how we're doing here now, and that's how we're doing it here now. Is how it's supposed to be functioning.
Maybe we don't need to start in Mecca.
You know
Maybe
what I
we need to
mean?
start right here.
Yeah, Baltimore has what, 19 and 13. Baltimore is 13 and 19.
And 78.
And we got somebody in Philly.
Did the Prophet establish 78 or was that INC? Okay, I know originally it was 13 and 19.
I know.
Okay, I mean, we got to clean them up too, that's fine. Anything that's under the umbrella of the Moorish Divine National Movement and clean it up, I'm with it.
Exciting me.
Like, I'm serious.
Okay, I don't know if this is the right place. We can do it off. I'm sorry. We'll do it offline.
Okay.
Go.
All right, so we can get this business done here.
Yeah.
All right, so we are moving on to records.
Records, funerals and ceremonies, because, the temple is supposed to be a regency, from the womb to the tomb.
Right.
When a birth happens, we should be able to record it as a Moorish national.
Right.
When you have the obligation ceremony, all right?
Right.
You're going to say, I do, and she says, I do. The obligation ceremony, we should have that on record because, as Brother Aaron demonstrated, if your mother didn't get married or your mother's mother didn't get married, somewhere along the line, the marriage certificate is the thing that is feeding this beast. It's feeding this beast constantly.
That's
so,
right.
That's an acknowledgement that Brother Aaron shared with me. But let us be about the business of our Father, all right? So let's have the birth records.
Right.
Let's have the obligation ceremonies, matrimonial ceremonies recorded.
Right.
Let's have someone to actually, handle the body.
Right.
When you pass form. We need those kind of people who know those kinds of things to handle the bodies. All right? That's what a regency does. It does all those things. All right, so I yield the floor to Brother Son.
As far as the small stone in the snowball of that happening, like the natal charts, like that's your natal records. So to start there. As far as since I've been through, and I'm just saying for fact purposes, through 2 matrimonial obligations, I actually have the actual document that I had put together. All praise to the mommy for that one. That put together a matrimonial obligation that's actually being used. Brother Cujo, Adwell L, did my first obligation, and when they had asked for some Moors up there near Canaan Land, I actually sent that to them. So that's something that I can give to the family, so you can analyze, criticize.
That's a lot.
Yeah, but I actually had the document on me too. I have the document on me, and since we have the printer and all, I guess.
All right, the floor recognizes Brother Nagi.
We need that.
That's long.
Keeping the records and
Yeah, we should keep records of people Moors who have, done the nationality ceremony because you were born a Moor, but you want to proclaim and declare because that's your adverse claim to whatever they're out there doing. So you need to have that document, and to place it on the record in the Moorish nation that, we know who this Moor is. The Moor says, hey, somebody captured me, all right? So we look on there, stand there, habeas corpus, out. Whatever it is in order to, facilitate us doing and being what we say we know. We got to be what we know. We can't be just, dilly-dallying, because that's what we've been doing all along, is dilly-dallying, all right? So, Islam, I yield the floor to Sister.
I nominate myself for this. I've already started a registry of different industries that we work in, different trades that we have, and different abilities that we have individually as a community to start to bring us back. And records keeping is a part of all of this. It's going to be a part of the law and civic. It's going to be a part of the schools. It's going to be a part of every committee that we have going on and all of the things that we need to do here personally within our province, right here at home for us to keep ourselves organized and.
Well, I second your nomination because you're already doing that.
I second it, third, fourth.
Can I add to your wisdom as well?
Brother Nagi wants to nominate himself too, so.
Absolutely.
Indeed. I wanted to answer that because I thought, and I spoke with you, Mother Delilah, about it, and I'm sharing, again, the open invitation as well. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought he was talking. I'm sorry. I thought Brother
No,
was talking. Okay. So, my office space, Brother Troy, you know how small my office is upstairs. So the living room space now on the second floor, I've put up a board and I kind of set up like a small classroom or whatever. But people have been coming from all across Amexem just to do that. The nationality, as far as their documentation and things like that, as far as witnessing, they'll either come here and get it sealed from Brother Taj, or they mail it off to Anaida or whatever, you know what I mean? But that is definitely coming. I would invite you guys to come down because everything you guys are discussing is like, because I was sitting in my head like, I know I can't do all this myself, and now that I'm hearing that what you guys are talking about, it feels so good to be able to probably like focus on one thing, because I've been doing so many things in my living room. You because you gotta think, you're helping people nationalize, you're printing out publications, then you're setting stuff, for later on that day, you gotta make sure you're traveling here, and it's like, yeah, we need us.
Now you call the head of the committee.
we need us a lot.
We need each other in
Now you call the head of your committee.
Yeah.
We need each other. So
I'm gonna need you guys also, as of right now, I'm not on social media, so when it comes to reaching out to our brother and sister and like to have them register, to give them a place to register, I'm gonna need to have you guys put the message out there, to put the advertisement out there, to put the commercial out there, to get them to want to sign up, or just get email your name, what you went to school for, or what your trade is, or if you own a business. Let's do that. When it comes to the marketplace, how do we build the marketplace? Well, you registered that you have a business. We're going to come to those different businesses. What do you offer? Because we're promoting it.
I got to jump in there.
Absolutely.
God have mercy. Okay, guys. Go ahead.
Yeah, so is that where the press come in and I'll get in contact
It's where
with
we're all
everybody
connected.
and then put that, what you're talking about, those avenues on the website, they can come, click ads and
Yes.
come in.
I'm sure they follow you. They love your videos. They watch you all the time. The people that are following you, the people that are watching, those are the people who want this information. They want to wake up. They want to be a part of this. They want to be registered. They don't quite know how. Maybe they don't domicile close enough to come to the classes, or they're a little too timid to actually DM you or hit up your inbox. It doesn't mean they don't want this information. It just means that they need a private way to do it.
Right, that's okay, I see.
Like,
allow them to kind of fluctuate with their own comfort zone.
Yes,
Right.
let them come to us. If you want to come to us, we have open arms. Know that we have open arms, because I'm telling you, we have open arms and we want you.
Okay, all right.
I would like to go after Brother Troy.
I just want to say in that whole process, like somebody came around, I don't want to be negative, damn it. We got to be careful with the information.
I agree.
We don't want to be cavalier with the information.
Exactly.
And we got to let people know that we're careful with the information. And we got to talk about some processes to be careful with the information.
Exactly.
The same reason that some people aren't on social media is why we need to be careful with the information. Islam. And I think it needs to be heightened, not to put a negative energy out there, but just a caution. I was reading something in the administrative process, we're talking about caution. Just to be cautious and just kind of raise everybody's level of consciousness about that, because it's huge, especially in the world we live in, and that's just the reality.
You see, I want this posted.
Yeah.
As we will be further dealing with strategy. We can't give away our, like you said, we can't give away our strategy.
Hassan?
Like with the social media, I'm highly active. I will say not everyone uses it the best way, but for what I use it for is specifically so that it'll make people want to come to this situation here. I will say like today, I'm scheduled to go live with Light to Jerry Bay. You see what I'm saying? And I told you I would like as many of us to be on that call because she wants it to be for 5 o'clock. But she wants to go Facebook Live. Do you see what I'm saying? On that, because her thing is she wants to bring up the word black and then the name correction, as everybody's going on RB Bay to get that list of name correction, right? So what I'll say is in lieu of that, like there's been things like even down to tax a per Q, it's something that's public information. I've done a 3-part tutorial video on that and shared it. And I know, when we share certain information live, there are certain disclaimers that when we put certain things, it'll actually keep you free and clear from being bothered. Because there's things that by me promoting on Instagram and Facebook, there are a lot of materials that I use that, would be copyright infringement given or provided if I didn't put certain disclaimers.
Okay, I got you. Yep.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then if it's sensitive information, there's usually like tax a per Q. Now you can't share something like that publicly, provided if you put a disclaimer that says this is being shared and published via the first Bill of Rights of the Constitution ratified 1791, Religious Freedom Clause, Liberty of Conscience, Revelations, chapter 1, verses 19 and 20. So when you have that as a disclaimer, and then you also say for nationals only on that disclaimer, and then you proceed with your presentation, anyone that's injured from following that process but not making sure they're national first, it's on them. Because you did everything in your being to say this is specifically for this mindset.
All right, it's long.
It's long.
Blew my mind. I had to show Mother Delilah the other day when she was at my house. What did we Google for RB Bay? RB Bay lawsuit. So apparently people were getting upset because they're sending in Federal Reserve notes and applications for their nationality papers, and were getting upset because they weren't receiving them. I myself sent in my papers 3 or 4 times and never was national. I never got my seal papers. I actually had to physically bring it in here to Taj. Not everybody can physically come bring it to Taj. Not everybody goes to Taj.
Right.
You feel me? But what ended up happening was somebody tried to sue or wanted to lawfully sue RB Bay for the Federal Reserve notes that they spent and didn't get their paperwork nationalized.
I mean, but it's...
I can speak on that though.
False commercial advertisement, and it hurt.
Let me speak to that just a little bit. I wish Mother Rosa was here to defend that position. I will say this, however, what's going on the social media is people are not reading. So what happens is when they don't read, and I'm saying this respectfully, okay? When they don't read, what is happening is there are people saying that they are in association with RB Bay, House of Reawakening Minds, and they're doing things with PayPal accounts and broken promises under these names of honorable people that are doing honorable work. Now, I will say when it comes to the sealed documents, when one notices that your nationality card, you probably never had an issue with because that's coming from near the Pleasantville Corporation. When it comes to your sealed documentation, you're dealing with near the Hartford Corporation. So that's 2 different jurisdictions, yet in association with one another because they have a right to assemble as protected in their first Bill of Rights. However, now what we have as an issue is we have a suit coming on a publication who's actually not responsible for that particular department. So let's take that as a lesson within our own.
Right.
That as soon as one of us drop the ball, they're going to come for the whole thing.
Exactly. So acknowledge that in writing and social media and everything that we are trying to help these people with. They are going to be the ones who take the food and cry, oh God, I got food poisoning. They're not eating it. They're not trying to be nourished. Oh, I'm the one that got food. The food was good. It was fine.
Yes.
Food was fine. How'd you prep it? How'd you ingest it? What did you have before and after?
Were your hands clean?
Oh, I can't. That was from were your hands
That's a
clean?
good one, because a lot of stuff is done with unclean hands.
Islam recognizing new,
All of it's done with unclean hands.
the floor recognizing new Nagi.
Islam.
Go ahead.
Where are we on the agenda since we consolidated the issue?
Where are we at?
We finished records, we would be on to housing, treasury, and temple.
Finish time, temple and religion, we just,
We did 11.
So we're just doing housing and treasury.
Yeah.
Housing and treasury now.
Housing and treasury.
Yes. Yes. All right.
I think that's rather easy. I'll speak to that first. And pardon me if I'm saying so much, but I'm excited.
No, go
All
ahead, bro.
right, Islam.
You don't have to ask for forgiveness.
All right.
It's loud, brother.
All right.
Hold on, Brother Nagi.
Right.
Hassan has the floor.
Now, yesterday, I'm sorry, did he want to speak first?
Let him go, let him go. Nice.
No, let Noon go.
All right, go ahead.
I didn't hear him.
Go ahead.
I'm
You have
sorry.
the floor.
I was going to say housing and treasury sounds like it could be consolidated with economic development.
Yes.
Oh,
I didn't hear that.
Say it again?
He said it should fall under economic development.
Housing and treasury can fall under economic development.
Treasury can,
As long as it doesn't get lost.
can
As
I?
long as it don't get lost.
I object. I do feel as though treasury and financing does need its own committee.
Did you hear Sister Renee?
Well, treasury and financing, that's when we go back to whether we're using gold or silver, whether we're using IOUs, whether we're gonna come up with our own vouchers. I had an idea where, let's say, in moving away from the Federal Reserve notes, let's say every time you come to class, you get a voucher. You save up these vouchers. Every time you do something along the lines of helping your community, we give you vouchers for it. Those vouchers may not be nothing to people who use Federal Reserve notes, but let's say you want to buy something from our marketplace or something from our online stores where it only supports and promotes the indigenous American and how we want to go about moving forward and how we want to do those things. And I feel like economic development and housing could go together. That is a part of the economy, but I feel like there's such broad spectrums individually that they should have their own committees.
Well,
And that's just my opinion. I'm up to motion seconds and objections.
Second.
Brother Nagi, and based off of what Mother's just said, how about those two committees work together? Because they're going to, it seems like they would be strongly work together.
Yeah, that
All
would,
right.
that,
All right.
Instead of merging in as one, have two committees, but they work greatly assisting each other.
I can agree with that, especially for,
Islam?
Islam?
Brother Hassan?
I just wanted to state that we've got some plans as far as how a lot of those issues that speaking on, like when it comes to a work permit or, getting, something officiated, a lot of that is going to go through the Roundtable office in coordination with the Regency office. So all of these committees are going to have to function together at some point. We just talk about who's going to lead what and clarifying what committee is going to be responsible for. So I'm not whatever organization y'all have. I just want to make sure we're clear what they did what right now.
Islam.
Brother Hassan, did you have something to say?
Yes. 2 days ago, I'm sorry, go ahead, brother.
Real quick, I just want to say, Nagi, and to everybody, please, I think we gotta, like when you say housing, I might think something else. Can we, for every time you go down something, can we define, damn it, what? Hey, this topic means you're covering this in this manner, and this is what we want from this committee. This is the goal here. I think we need to do that. I think it's very important. And for the record, and that's what I want to say. That's it.
we should definitely talk about
I
it.
agree.
All right, so anybody want to give clarity to these things here?
Brother Hassan?
I was going to speak on specifically shelter, since that's what you're, I guess in the means of housing. Right now, I was able to briefly get on a radio interview with Catherine Pugh, who's the Chief Executive Officer for the City of Baltimore Corporation. And I had mentioned a specific quasi-national town that they call Park Heights, which I'm near already for about the last 20 years. And I've watched about 2.5 blocks in a radius, actually, decay. Beautiful land, tons of Moorish architecture as far as row houses, they're beginning to demolish them as we speak. After that phone call, they started demolishing, because I had specifically questioned on NPR about it. And so now they're starting to attack these properties. So a couple days ago, I just go to get my screen fixed on my phone, and this lady stops me and she's go, "Hey, Moore, whatever this is, and you a Moorish brother? Oh, I like what the Moors is doing. I support y'all." And come to find out, she's the grassroots community advocate for Park Heights Renaissance. So the people in City Hall that don't want to do the dirty work in the neighborhoods, they got her doing it. So when yesterday she goes live and invites me on our Facebook Live. So now we have crossed our audiences. So it's now, because wasn't nobody really viewing her stuff, and now you got Brother Collide in Staten Island, you got people out there near the West, like Jerry and everybody now watching this sister. And what we're going to do, and what I'm thinking and what should happen, if I practice with these de factos staying in honor where I am, I will be able to see what we're to do here and vice versa. Because what I'll be able to do is I'll be able to take my place amongst the affairs of men there with those that work for the City of Baltimore Corporation, because my plan is to get to the children. And when you're working with people who are doing the grassroots advocating, we know how, for those from near Baltimore, Park Heights is like Southeast DC. Alrighty, for those that may not know what Park Heights is like, you've heard of Southeast DC.
I've heard of Southeast, yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So, and it's actually getting worse, like right now as we speak.
So best stuff in New York.
Basically, you know what I'm saying? So now with Mother Dorothy, you know what I'm saying, wanting to work, she wants me to work with them, because she's like, well, I'm always going down to City Hall, this and that and that, and I've been letting her know, like, I want to go to these meetings. And so she's like, what am I going to do with these people, because I'm trying to save their homes and people are going to jail, they don't know how to deal with police. Every question she's asking are consular questions.
Yes.
And I'm sitting here like, nationality is the key, but I gotta start with black. And so now I'm thinking, now you guys are bringing up housing, I'm thinking that eventually, wherever we are in our territories, find those grassroots people that are working under the City Hall people, because slowly but surely we'll be able to teach them. Once we teach them, because they just want to, what's the word? Get a pat on the back from the mayor.
They want to resolve too.
No. I get that. But remember,
Want to be recognized.
their resolve is kind of Negro black colored, because they're just trying to do the right thing.
Right.
But now we
Everything's
give them
understandable.
purpose with their nationality. It's a wrap.
Yeah.
I like that, brother. That's the Trojan horse.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah. That's exactly what it is.
I'm with
You know what I mean? But I don't want to be deceptive.
Okay, so help me. For housing, we are trying to do what? We're trying to get housing for the poor, for the nationals. We're trying to
Talk to the people that are running these programs.
just so for shelter and property for those that have a need. So we work in the Section 8 program.
Like I'm just saying, like,
You hear what I'm saying? You see
like,
what I'm
yeah,
trying to say?
but if you let's say if you know somebody that runs a Section 8 program, brother, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes building those, I'm learning, building those relationships.
Talk some Nagi Katie.
I'm sorry, building relationships with people, and I'm not saying let's get and tie in with the de facto. I'm looking at the people. These people have knowledge and information on topics that we're discussing.
I yield.
We know the law in obtaining these things. Yet we have to be as gentle as a dove with how wise we are as serpents. So with that being said, I just had seen that in speaking with this one sister that's dealing with Park Heights Renaissance and cleaning up the communities. Eventually that relationship will lead to us being able to connect the bridge between us knowing the law and what we're supposed to be doing. We should just write this and put this claim on it. That's it. And these people that's like, but man, I got to do this and fill this paperwork and go through that hoop. We talk to these people and use that bridge with civics and law. It's a wrap. Then we'll always be able to have some place for the Moors to lay, because I'm seeing more and more people not having a place to lay their head. More and more people losing their homes.
You're right about that.
And if they're losing their homes, but yet they're knocking houses down, and then have Renaissance committees. Renaissance is the word they're using.
All word.
Do you see what I'm saying?
All word. Yeah.
So I'm just looking at it like, hold on, maybe I need to humble myself a little bit, and maybe I need to shake a couple of hands.
You talk about.
Do you know what I mean?
You talk about block captains and committee people.
Yes.
Right.
Look like us.
Yes. And they.
Platinum City Hall.
And they, yes, and
And
those,
the
that's who you really, I think, want to connect with, cause they gonna be the most.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Brother Nagi, let him say something.
I'm sorry.
I recognize you, all right? All right.
No, I never wanted to let him speak.
All right, go ahead, Nagi.
Speak up, Nagi, please.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna make sure I got the people it out and let me be clear. Just as a point of order. Housing and treasury, when it was brought up and put on the agenda, my thinking and my understanding based on the law, again, starting from the basis that we are on our own map of state. All right, and if you understand anything about trust and state law, you will know that there is possession, but there's also improvement and other things in equity that are considered as part of the issue that we're dealing with. It comes down to power and water at the end of the day, and everything else to the county title and essentially all that they were talking about. Starting to apartments, things of that sort. We again have to start with the land. All right, in our perspective. Point is to remove issues from the jurisdiction. That is the whole point and purpose of Consular Court.
Islam.
Issues from the foreign jurisdiction. We're not trying to maintain. We're not trying to push foot. We're not trying to hold out. This is our state. We're making the claim, and we're building on that. Anything less is personal subjugation, in my opinion.
Islam.
The housing and treasury, we are establishing housing for our people, all right? And for instance, when we're talking about properties, they could be rental properties. The revenues generated therefrom would go towards the treasury, i.e. them being connected directly. And these facilities will be open to awards as well as non-awards because we're talking about rental properties again. So that's why housing and treasury go to the red man. As far as those who do legal community, I envision and have plans in conjunction with the economic development committee to have it to where, all right, say your own right comes to territory and the work is banned for you, all right? You're going to be a new job or new work established for you to be able to do whatever you're doing. The work that Sister Renee is doing with the registry is perfect for that. We will go to that registry, be able to assess where the work is, but with that, they also have to move their family and move them into a house. That's where the housing and treasury department comes in. There will be projects already on the floor. There's, we know all the different groups that already have it comes down to rental agreements and things of that sort. And, we're talking about open lots, and it can go to trade however you want to take it. But a lot of this has already been, laid out. We just coming together to see who's going to be on the committee. I just want to reiterate that, and I give the floor.
Islam. That's perfect.
Still recognize Sister Renee.
I'll toss to Ali. I'll go in a second. I want to hear everybody's. Go ahead.
Okay. Anybody else? Brother Dominic, we haven't heard from you at all. Just give us, a little bit of an assessment of what we're doing and how you think that, we might be moving in the direction that we need to move or we're not moving. Just give us a little assessment, please.
Yeah, I think fundamentally everything that's being talked about is greatly needed, and I'm excited to, like other members said, that we're actually on the track to actually get the things established of what we need to separate our nation from their nation. And in general, I'm listening so that I can think of where my place is.
Islam.
Right now, I look at myself as being an assistant to anyone who needs help.
Islam.
I know there are specific things I think I can do, but I'll do more studying and figure out is that exactly where I need to be. One thing that, and I'm gonna just put Brother Isaiah out there, he says that he sees me as being a mufti.
Islam.
So I'm looking at the role of mufti so that I can figure out would that be fit for me, and I would assist in that matter. That's the first thing that comes to mind.
Whatever you don't know is martial arts, don't worry, I'll teach you.
Right, that's sweet.
Did you want to say something, Najee?
I just wanted to come in and put something face perfect. That's all we're looking for.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because, we're developing, we're helping each other develop, towards our greatness, We're here to assist. It says, if thy brother is in adversity, assist him. If thy sister is in trouble, forsake her not. So
said the voices.
yes, say.
And one other thing, I'm not sure what this falls under, but I'm by nature an outreach person.
Islam.
If you send me somewhere, I can get people together and I can bring them to where you need them to be. So wherever that would fall, I would love to be a part of that committee to be able to assist in bringing people to where we need them to be.
Islam, which is a good mouthpiece.
The floor recognizes Isaiah.
And just to add to that point, these last month or so,
Yeah.
he has put on 3 events at different locations, and we had over 30 people each time.
Wow.
Each time, and they would bring their friends, and we went over, law, astrology. We went over, nationality. We went over different things. So I can definitely vouch for what he said with the outreach.
With that being said, just real quick, if I could have the floor. So there's also, at the bottom it says other committees. It may not be here, but we should have an outreach program that she would be perfect for. Like we said, to bring in those other people, whether it's off of social media or just walking down the street or just handing out pamphlets to anybody that listen. Just reaching out. If that's what you're amazing at, being in social worker outreach programs is a great start.
I'll be the first to say I nominate the brother for the outreach program.
Motion is on the floor for our brother Dominic. A second. Move the second. All in favor? Aye. All right. So we're moving right along here. So have we done all of it? Have we reached all of it?
Hassan still has a moment.
All right. Our brother Hassan.
Yeah, this will probably be my last one. I was just saying the reason why I mentioned what I mentioned during housing, in lieu of studying different court areas. When we're being jurisprudent and know that court is a space that's uncovered, any space that's uncovered, and the entire planet is court. So it probably would be prudent to do as much speaking as we can with those that are national and or not, because there's a lot of information and knowledge with a lot of people outside of our own selves. But I will, now that I see and I grasp that, I'll speak less, because I guess all we're looking for is who's going to do what, and then I guess we can yield. I'm just so excited to share it and add to it. But now that I see exactly what it is, I'll yield the floor, Islam.
So is the housing table for now, or do we assign?
I think we put housing together with Treasury and Finance, but no, we have not made an assignment to that yet.
So
we need nominations.
did you want to nominate yourself?
It's like no.
You doing brother Nagi, was already dealing with the economic development.
We're doing economic development.
So Nagi, how you feel about housing?
Would that be too much, brother Nagi? And brother Isaiah?
I would ask them more than towards the committee.
Which board? Isaiah or Dominic?
I don't know who's speaking.
Well, I was just his last speaker.
Yeah, brother Isaiah was the last one to speak.
Yes, brother Isaiah.
Are you talking about the tall brother?
Are you talking about this issue here right here?
I can't see anybody. I'm just.
Go ahead.
Yo, all right, somebody get in front of the
He's still not going over you.
Yeah, you gotta come talk to him. You gotta say something on the thing
We
here.
talking about housing.
All right, let me see. All right,
Yeah, just make a quick.
say something in there.
How you doing, brother? This is Troy. How are you?
Hey, it's brother Troy.
All right. Is that what you're talking about?
Is that your voice? Is that the
Is
voice?
that what you want for housing? Count me in if it helps.
All right.
If you feel like it.
There you go. Right.
All right. This is brother Dominic.
Brother Dominic speaking here. How you doing, brother?
There you go.
He's outreach.
All right.
Is that,
I think it was Brother Isaiah.
But this is brother Isaiah.
Islam, brother.
See, can you see him? See him?
Alright, Islam.
All right. So, I think,
we're getting there.
you know, the other thing is, you know, the Consular Court, I'm understanding that there's going to be a ceremony here on the 18th with them installing Brother Taj Tariq Bey as, what is it, Consul General? Counsel General?
Consul General.
Consul General, something to that effect, all right? So they're gonna have a ceremony, you know. I've been trying to catch up with Brother Chalet Moore, but, you know, there's work for all, and we got a lot of work on our plate right now. We have a lot of work. I'd like to find out how they're extracting Moors out of these institutions, but, hey,
Yeah.
we gotta bring trust here.
That's right.
This is the picture. This is the picture of the flyer for the 18th.
Yeah. Show that to, put that on the camera.
That face.
Did you have something to say?
Okay.
I do.
Yes.
That's in Brother Troy. That's Troy up there and
All right.
I nominated Hassan for that housing,
I thought you
yeah, as well. I want to, you know,
And Dominic, too.
and Dominic, all of us.
All of us, yeah.
We're gonna rock, we'll turn it upside down.
Yeah, we're gonna rock that world.
Yeah, we'll do it. We'll do it.
All right, so, and like I say, the Consular Court, we're trying to, like Brother Aaron said, he said, you know, a petty jury is 12. A grand jury is 24. So when we get the paperwork sealed to send it out to these international courts and stuff like that, we need those signatures, those juror consults on this page, you know, signatures on the page to demonstrate that we have a government going and it's running, and it's up and running, all right?
Right.
So, like I say, I marked, you know, I sent Brother Isaiah his information back. I'm getting on yours, Brother Troy, and Brother Dominic, and, you know, I think I have yours somewhere in my file.
Yeah, well, we get together on that.
Yeah.
We're close to each other.
So, you know, like, I'm just, you know, trying to get everybody immersed in what we're about. We're about a love Jones here, you know?
I'm in a rock.
Islam.
It's
And
love.
so, you know, let's be about the love, you know, because the prophet, how many times has he said it? You know, he said, mothers, teach your children to love instead of hate. It's in here. This is our document. This is our affidavit of fact. It has 2 seals. 2 seals, all right? If you go to the temple, it has 2 seals. Drew all these in the temple seal, all right? So this is an affidavit of fact, which has ever been rebutted or refuted or corrected. This is the document we could use. And the other one was this, you know, which just gives us our authority. And like I said, we make these, we're doing these right now. So, you know, we're trying to, you know, put them on the market so that we can sell these, you know, because like myself, I'm visually challenged. So, you know, this is perfect for me because, you know, I can see it. You know, this is a little small here, you know, this is just a little small, you know, but we're working on that, you know, because the temples did not get this information out. Not temples. The sheik, grand sheik, enforced the law, all right? And this is the law. So these should have been gotten to every Moor. You know, we wouldn't have as much unconsciousness now if they were able to understand Why are you a Moorish American? Because I am a descendant of a Moroccan and born in America. I'm a descendant of Moroccans and born in America. Who is Ruth the Moabitess? What is your religion? You know, that's your foundation that you stand on, because this is, our authority is based on this, a religious corporation, all right? This is the thing to do, the public, and we're underneath the umbrella of this.
And our kids need to know that.
Children?
I'm sorry. Not our goats.
Islam and the floor.
Yes.
But that being said, we left out one committee
What's that?
somewhere along the way.
Transportation.
Governmental principles and offices of seats of office.
I didn't have it on the video.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
up
it's
there.
It's on the board. It was under seats of office, but we changed it to governmental principles and seats of office.
So now-
And that deals with exactly what you're talking about, making sure people stand on that. So I nominate you, mother.
I second it. I second.
I've heard it.
Governmental principles. You tell them.
Principles, yes, you know, because, all right, so that's not.
I second that.
All right.
Wait a minute, we have to find out if she accepts.
I accept. And like I'm saying, I'll give us 2.5 weeks so for some response. I want some response here.
Islam.
You get it.
You know, come on. We're working on show time, you know?
So I'll pose a question, everyone. And this is going into moving away from committees. I'm pretty sure we could table that for now, and moving on to general questions before the closing ceremony, which a lot of these questions do tend to come under. So one of my biggest general questions
So wait a minute, do you want to close the meeting here and then we open up for general questions, or do you want to?
I don't want, these are still, it has to do with the duties, but it's not pertinent to any particular committee.
All right.
With general questions.
All right, yeah, floor.
Just last one, this last one, did we already do records? Did I miss that one?
Records.
Yeah.
Records is,
She
Myself.
said.
and new Nagi.
And since she has it on her computer, everyone must submit your email address so that she can send it and you can see it in living color, you know, what it is.
You got it.
All right,
All right, so we all know we ain't got no mistakes.
all right.
It's clarity, because law is right and exact, all right? So,
So-
law governs all events. All right, any floor.
The question I pose is, what's the incentive to get a lot of these people to come join these committees? We're gonna find out more times than not that we're gonna come across these people that we want to help or who offer to help, who are gonna tell you, oh, well, I don't have a babysitter, or I have to take care of the children, oh, I work a job, or all these other things. If we're asking people to take on work and or roles and positions in developing these things, what are we offering them? What is their incentive to show up every Saturday to these meetings? What is their incentive to show up at all? What is their incentive to work and put in physical labor to do these things? What are we offering? Is it just that it's not a Federal Reserve note because how are we helping you eat? You know what I mean? Like we're asking you, oh, well, to come to this meeting on Saturday, but let's say you work every Saturday. It doesn't take away from the fact that you want to be there for your obligation, but that's how you eat and feed your children. So how do we take people more so away from this Federal Reserve note and into a system where we develop ourselves and they don't need to rely on that Federal Reserve note, where they can come be themselves and grow in that? I feel like that's one of the biggest problems we're going to find. Everybody's going, oh, I got to do this or I got to do that, but their obligations are to other things that help them eat and survive. I yield the floor.
The more I studied and the less I was under someone's thumb, the more fun I had in exercising my nationality and birthrights. So I'm free to have fun with my studies without someone trying to control my growth. I think that would be the best incentive.
I like to come back on what the brother just said, because he's totally correct, and I learned that on my own. The same thing, and I'm pretty sure you probably did that on your own, because Mother Ani once said that when she was studying, and a lot of groups kind of stagnated on certain people. Certain people, we all at different, like lazy grads, we're all at different levels, so that way, if you're ready to move at a certain aspect on the law, somebody's not quite there, you do what you can to get them up to speed, but it should not hinder or slow any progress down. And sometimes when we formulate like that, we should keep that awareness.
And to everything that was said, I thought we were alluding to it earlier, but It sounds like you were talking about like coupons.
Like the vouchers
Or
and stuff like that, yes.
I think that would be great incentive to circulate just amongst the nation on a small scale first. And that could be one way to keep people incentive, so you can have coupons for whatever businesses within the nation.
And it's simple, there's so many of us, whether, like I said, we're asleep or awake, that it's easy to reach out and go, hey Moorish, who's a graphic designer? Because you're about to help us change the world.
Right.
Very simply. Very simply, we have people in every industry, whether they're awake or not, that are willing and able to help the cause. Whether or not they know who they are yet, trust and believe with us, you're gonna figure it out. The information's getting out there, we're putting it out there in your face. So, with that, it still doesn't, the vouchers was one. I don't wanna lean towards cryptocurrency in any type of way, so it's something to think about. There are a lot of people who do it for themselves, who just want that general knowledge. Not everybody could, I don't know if you two have children, but not everybody can feed children with knowledge. Obviously you can feed children with knowledge, but
I know what you mean.
you know what I mean.
Whatever the currency is, it's gotta have value.
Right.
We have to create a value for us.
Yes.
Is that similar to like how you
It's
see
in
like
treasury.
stores like Dave and Buster have their
There
own
you
Dave
go.
and Buster dollars and stuff like that, like
Exactly.
based off of honor system or integrity system, you get certain amount of
And I agree,
coins or-
you show honor and integrity every time you step into one of these rooms, or every time you go to do something for your brother or sister, where we have community outreaches like this, where just showing up, or your $7 or $9 donation, whatever you decide to donate today, gets you
Okay.
so many vouchers, like I said, could get you things at the marketplace and things like that, where it's not relying on this Federal Reserve note, where we're going on a system where you're being rewarded for doing what you're supposed to do, not what we're telling you to do or what you feel, I'm gonna stay with the word obligated, but to start to change the system in our favor and somehow come up with ways to do that. Obviously, we just talked about everybody being on the housing, treasury, and financing, and along with treasury and financing comes that, whether we're vouchers, banking, barters, trade, gold, silver, IOU, IODs, discharging debts. Earlier, we were talking about, I believe it came up on the cell phone conversation about the utilities. Well, with the dues and stuff that we go towards utilities, at the point where we get to the point where we want to be, there will be no paying utility bills. There are no bills. This is our land. This is our stuff. We already know these things. It is ours for the taking. We have to claim and discharge it. So even then, I had made a mental note when we were talking about housing and shelter. Mental notes.
Same principle.
Yes, the same principle. I really just drew a blank right now. Okay, with the housing, it's property retention. Property is already ours.
That's right.
It's going to claim and retain it and putting it back in a proper appellation, back to nobility, bring it back to the trust.
What you call loyal status.
Colonial status, absolutely. So it's not like, oh, we gotta go get the land. We all know it's our land. It's just retaining it and taking it back. And then from there, building on it, things that that'll help us. So let's say at a certain point, I know you were talking about Section 8 earlier, but let's say we have, I don't know what they would be called, like guilds, where if you're working on this project where you're on this block and we're building these 3 houses this week, you could stay in this house while building these 3. Or we have a garden on this block. If you're working in the garden, you may never have to pay for food. I work in the garden every night. So the fact that you bring in food means your housing is taken care of, which it should have been anyway. But like working our land in a way that helps us stay a community and productive without their assistance. The Amish do it every day. No electricity, no anything. Like, and then you don't think they pull over the little Amish kids for riding the horses or the tractors down the street. You got a license for that? You got a license for that horse? You got a license to ride this tractor down the street? They're not bothering them. Mostly because they're demonstrating principles of religion. But on top of that, they're their own type of community. They've got their own governmental principles.
Can I interject on what you just said?
Well, no, wait, Hassan had one question.
I do yield the floor.
With the voucher thing, I was saying yeah because I agree. When we had the astrology 101 workshop, I wanted because we wasn't sure if the food was going to show, right? So I wanted, since everyone is still operating privately, discharging debt with Federal Reserve notes, so that the Federal Reserve notes could stay where they were already allocated, as far as, the tuition was concerned. We wanted people to, if the food didn't happen to show, we wanted them to have said voucher or some type of paper that they could have left from here and went to Drop Squad Kitchen with.
Yes.
Instead of Drop Squad Kitchen losing their finance.
Yes.
Do you see what I'm saying? That's why I brought that up when it came to the vouchers. Do you see what I'm saying? Because we had did a class, we had set a tuition, we had supplies and everything for the students, and we wanted to make sure they ate. When we weren't sure about the eating situation, I didn't want the students being disappointed. So there was communication with abundance. But it all turned out to be what it was. It all started out, everything's happened here. But it was like, man, just in case, I just wanted to send people, and we would have had, at that moment, because besides myself and Ario, it was like 14 others. You see what I'm saying? So we would have had to handwrite them.
Right.
You know what I mean? With Appalachian thumbprint, I had 2 cent stamps. We could have, practiced that, and then they just could have went there. That's just all I'm saying. So I agree with that.
And then,
I agree with that. That's so that we can keep the current finances where they were at.
You already covered it. I don't want to come off with.
No, go right ahead, beloved. I'm listening.
Because we're on the same. No, we're on that same page. I'm on the same page. Because what I was mentioning is about, as far as when we were dealing with housing, not to go back on housing, but it seems to tie into, all this is seeming to tie in seemingly to the same adverse claim that I was mentioning in the beginning. We make our adverse claim on those actual conversions that they're doing, we can give some breathing room for ourselves to clear up to where we can attack those alleged surety holders holding the land and certain, that's like when y'all mentioned it, I was already on it up here because I had already worked on, I have stuff in the house that I've already worked on, just not put out there yet. And it's dealing with attacking those that making that alleged surety holder, like in the situation you explained when you made some inkling that you was interested in that land, that property, so and they start doing a demolition. And I was doing that same thing in a temple near Camden with a building that was adjacent to us that I was going to turn into a school, and next temple meeting it was rubbish. It burned to the ground and tore it down, it was rubbish. And we had to have an emergency business meeting at the temple to make sure the temple was all right. And so I see how they operate. Don't think that they don't. That's how they operate. So when we're getting into dealing with the land and seeking property as far as dealing with the rentals and the gardening and all that, there are a lot of alleged surety holders out there claiming holder in due course of land that does not belong to them and property that sits on top of it. So my thing with the adverse claim, by enforcing that Article 3, as one entity, not one entity, as one body politic, we will give ourselves some breathing room. I know for sure.
Yes,
I know for sure. And you're the feeling as well.
I'm yielding to questions, I'm staying on track with.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, is this still on track with
Everything
No,
is
I'm
okay.
just doing it.
We're general questions.
General questions.
We're general questions.
So, and in line to what the brother's saying, also I was thinking with records, I'm pretty sure we said it before, but standardization. We are free nationals, however, we like to throw out paperwork that has different looks to them. Nothing is consolidated as a standard.
Indeed,
how we,
indeed.
How they see us. When they see us, they see all these people belong to the same nation. Versus, a document here, which is our liberty to do so, but you don't see uniformity in it. So with records, I'm not sure if it's something that's already in place, to have standard documentation, how it should look, standard verbiage in the body of it, so that we all can have a template, not verbatim maybe, because every situation is different, but something that is uniformly kind of consistent though.
That way we're generally making that one argument.
Right.
Yes, it's not
Together.
That's it.
And
The question?
yeah, I guess back to, well, I don't know if it's off track, but back to like the whole voucher piece. So I guess one incentive we can like try to get everyone who has an established business or thing create their own kind of voucher or system of currency, so like it can circulate within, like, you know how when Uranus is go back into Taurus, then you're gonna have like change in possessions and how businesses do things. So like, I think we should add that aspect in, like, everyone who was on top, you know, or have their stuff up and running, they can get on top of that, try to create like their own type of thing now, and then by the time, like, if the dollar finally crashes, then we can already have that up and running. So I'm just throwing that out there.
Like there's something already in place for us.
Right.
Let's, brainstorming, let's brainstorm.
That's great.
I agree.
It's like, this is how they have 24/7 brainstorm institutions, you know? The Brookings Institute, you know? And 24/7, they're up there figuring out, but, under their own bad planning, that their demise is coming anyway, so, that's based on the caveat emptor, what Drew Ali said,
Islam. I'll pose a question. Has anybody done any research on what they know as federal grants? We know they're not a federal government, but they are a corporation.
Before the consciousness of Moorish science. Okay, so I don't know what connotatively or denotatively. So I don't know how you. I'm saying before. When I was raising the black fist, yes.
I just meant to help us with the things that we're doing right now, or immediate financial assistance.
So you're saying, let me make it so I'm not confused. Grants in regards to
Aboriginal
funding,
indigenous people for funding.
Yes. from that.
So we know from the rights of the indigenous people, we didn't need the rights of the indigenous people to tell us what we're entitled to here. Right. But obviously when it comes to our own schools, our own governments, our own establishments, whether it's from food and housing to whatever retail or commercial business we wanted to do,
they have to assist us with that.
Right. So
in order for us to
grants out there, like millions of dollars that aren't being touched.
Well, not so much federal grants, but like you say, the rights of indigenous people, right? They have an obligation internationally to assist us with whatever we need to survive.
Agreed.
Right. But
we have to enforce that.
In line with the sister, what she's saying, what it sounds like to me, is that she's saying we need to exercise an avenue to access the energy that's available for autochthonous, aboriginal, indigenous, however you want to bring it, people. And not necessarily the American Indian bear with the piece. But there are definitely, to that point, I know for a fact, avenues. Accessing them, I say that some effort should be put into that, no shame in that, but we're opening up the door to say we need your private commercial paper securities.
That you took from our securities.
That's right.
Yes.
To do that, okay. Just the angle,
Hassan, you have the floor.
You can just come back to me. There's a couple things I was saying.
So we can consider that for the next meeting as another issue that we can address.
Yeah, and it's 422.
Yeah, I know you got to catch your train. That's why I'm not saying.
Nope. Just the most important thing at the end of, right before closing, is figuring out.
You ain't give me that.
We talked about this on the couch before you left. I just only printed it off for everybody.
Oh, I know what I was going to say. Briefly. Every part that we're discussing in the agenda is being practiced, or at least I'm hoping that everyone's practicing that some way, shape, or form already within their own constitution. And each thing can be easily done and completed and met. And I just want to just to say that, to encourage everybody that everything that's done there can be done collectively, especially when we are doing it as our own sentient being, individual, quote unquote, sentient being, doing that list. That's as far as the committees. I yield the floor.
So So with that, as far as these committees, we have committees and then the whole grant body politic, as you know, for the consular court, but we have to decide on how often each individual committee will meet and how often we'll reconvene as a whole to discuss different things amongst the committees. Individually within your committees as heads, you're gonna go through new memberships, you're gonna go through applications and people that wanna join and going through things like that. So those are things, we'll save for next time, but we'll wanna go into talk about applications and new memberships. The committee reports, we just said would be due every 2 weeks or so.
Yeah.
So I'll pose this question.
That's great.
If we're gonna report, who are we reporting to?
Well, a lot.
Email?
Yes.
Or just an email to you? All right. Just wanna clarify everything. Sorry.
While we're doing it, I have a question for Brother Nagi. Can you hear me, brother?
Brother Nagi, you still there?
Nagi. All right.
All right, real quick, I'm just wondering if there is anything in writing that describes the task at some depth and detail of each committee topic. There are 12, now 13 or so committees that are here, and I'm curious, I want to know if there's anything in writing that says this committee's goal and objective is to accomplish this fact this way. Do we have such a thing? If not, we need such a thing. And I already know the game. I'll try my best to write out something, but Brother Nagi, the brother has obviously put in a lot of time with this. And what I'm hearing, and maybe it's in a neophyte concept, so bear with me. What I'm hearing is he has concepts and understandings of what we want to accomplish with each committee. Maybe somebody hears it and sees another picture. I would really like if there could be a framing of, folks, the game is this is what we want. Don't assume we all know. We want to accomplish this with this committee to address these issues, these matters in this way, which each of the 12 or 13 things. If that's in writing, that's what I'm pleading for.
Islam.
You gonna make a comment, Nagi?
Yes, I would like to directly respond to that.
But
I have a word for Friday, I'm working on, and I'm gonna rush it up to try to get them out to you guys. That's what I'm doing. A lot more information. And like I said, a lot of things earlier. There's a lot of things that have not been revealed. And first of all, certain breaks and phone calls. But as we move forward, those things will be made available. It will be, on display. I'm not exactly sure how or to what degree, but after we get all the thumbs up, it'll be passed along. But yes, there is a very detailed explanation for a lot of this and for a lot of these committees that we're doing. There is a blueprint in mind and in design. That's the madness I use for it.
Islam.
Yeah, Islam. You just want to go in the right direction. I don't want to waste
And
energy.
with that, I pose this. In the first 2-week report, you get together with your committee and you come up with these things that you were able to do and what you think you're able to achieve within your community or within your committee and achieve goals within yourselves.
yeah, because we're not.
I'm going to say that I yield, but I'm going to say from my concept, I'm going to talk to this brother and say, this is what I'm thinking. What did you have in mind? So we don't waste time going down the wrong path, because we got a lot of energy here. The last thing you want to do is send it down the wrong way.
All right, let me share this, all right? It says, we the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union.
Right.
And we establish justice, we
And show-
establish all these things. So, this is something you can work off of. This is something you can work off of. These are instructions. These are instructions for us to work off. These are instructions that we can work off of. This is an instruction book too. This is an express trust.
Right, got it.
This is it. And why aren't we getting the benefit of the express trust that the grantors gave to us as beneficiaries, and they created agents and agencies, and why aren't we getting this? Because what did Joelle say? We're not enforcing the Constitution.
Right.
We must enforce the Constitution. It's already been established for a more perfect union.
We'll go down that road then, no problem.
Islam?
Islam.
And just to reiterate that point, the another question, if you're looking for a drive-by as to where we're going and what we're doing, just pull out that administrative functions and start going through, you know, like the clouds and
The rainbow.
the rainbow.
Got it.
And start to see the structure.
Yeah, yes.
And again, that structure is directly around within period van. And it's one of the great fields. So you're looking at it, you know, you might not be abreast of everything that you're seeing, but it is hitting the same site. Trust me.
Got it.
All right.
It's not by your floor.
All right. All right. So what time is it?
I just want to remind y'all, this is the added shit work.
Yes.
We're doing.
Yes, out of work, we already been past the initiative, we got to get to the next level. All right, so much more clear.
The initiative thing, we're just.
It's not a question.
And making it known to the public at this point.
Islam.
Islam? All right.
But this is in the works since, you know, for 7 days,
All right, brother Islam.
Yeah, I know you gotta catch your train. I'll just say, I think when it comes to the nominations, thank you. I'm going to respectfully decline. And what I'll do is I'll just leave my email and number open for anyone to contact me if there's any assistance. I think I'm seeing clearly, so you guys just call me.
All your nominations? Are you currently denying?
Oh, well, I'm just saying I can see.
I might ask that you disclose what you see.
Please.
Because
Because I mean, like I said, I was excited to share, and now that I'm seeing that, I think I might not be looking at what you guys are actually
speak
looking for.
denotatively, specifically. What do you mean?
We don't want to
Good
assume.
work.
Yeah, no.
No, I think I might be like thinking too much. So I don't know. I think you guys might have it a little bit more put together than I do
That's what we're here for.
in my head.
Well, we're here to help each other, what's wrong with you?
I disagree with you, brother. I got love for you because I've seen the stuff that you know. I know the work that you're doing, and so you know we definitely need you there. We definitely need
Point
you.
man,
Yes,
point man, a guard,
we-
point man,
what you already,
somebody
you know, what you
3-point shot.
already
When did you
expressed to
begin?
us.
I think no. I'll just probably observe to make sure that's a little more mutual
But
across the board.
let me share something else with government.
Okay.
It says, for the record, on the record, and let the record reflect. So if you have questions and concerns, write it down.
Okay.
So that we can review the thing, because this is, we're establishing a Republican form of government. So you need a representation, all right? So we want to see, so that we can work it out, because this is science, Moorish science, all right? And so you start with the problem, all right? And then you come to experiments, you know, and you test, and you work the situation out until, you know, you come to the conclusion that you need to come to the conclusion about. Because this is about the upliftment and fall of humanity. There's no one perfect answer. It says, for a more perfect union. More perfect. It doesn't say it was perfect.
But I don't want to encroach upon anyone's overall excitement about it due to my detailed oriented.
Wait,
If I can interject in any way.
Yeah, come on, Don.
When you're saying what you're saying, brother, for me, I'm just going to tell you from my position, it kind of comes out of nowhere. Because I never seen anything within this meeting come directly toward you in any way. Now maybe you are perceiving something. Whatever that is, we won't know until you disclose it.
Are you willing
What it
to?
does is, let me finish. What it does is creating energy amongst people where we have to guess where your mind and your intent and where your heart is at the moment. So therefore, it discombobulates the chemistry we just had. Because I thought we were having a great meeting. And I thought that the ideas that you brought up were excellent.
Awesome.
And I could see you spearheading a lot of things because you have a lot of knowledge and a lot of experience that I can learn from. So when you come from that perspective, for me, I'm telling you, it's left field. That's why I'm responding the way I'm responding. I thought everything was great. I thought you were perfect for the roles that were assigned to you. I thought that everyone will come into a great chemistry. If you think differently, of course, you know, we can definitely address whatever that is. However, I disagree with if you think something is against you, because I didn't get that. And if you need to specifically, denotatively address an issue that you're feeling, I would say do that.
I think if we go back in a minute, it will be said that we're looking specifically for committees and people that are going to be involved, right? Me, based on my studies thus far, I just know that I like to be thorough and specific before I start doing anything. So that's why I was saying specifically, I would rather just kind of I was trying to say it in a way without it coming off as if I'm just trying to run stuff. You know what I mean? I was really just excited about making sure we're being specific about our duties. Yet when what was brought to the floor, anything that may have seemed that I was speaking a little more. That's why I say I think I may have the wrong concept of this meeting. Do you see what I'm saying? Because in my excitement, you know what I mean, the reason why once I heard, we're just specifically looking for this, we don't need things to be shared this way, and I was like, okay, well maybe this is not my forum then, because that's what I was thinking. Do you know what I mean? That's why I said I'm still willing to help. You guys know, y'all can call me. I can help with anything. I'll always do that.
Is there anything in particular that you see that is not?
I think the more I share, the more I don't want to annoy people.
You're not annoying us, brother. Your information is not. Your presence is.
You're not saying you're thinking too much, right? You're not saying you're thinking too much, right?
I would like to know.
Use your own word. You're thinking too much. Calm down.
So for the record, you weren't heading. You head the school committee. That's you. You the Temple and Religion with Troy, and everything else you're whatever you want to be.
Yeah, I just want to know that. I just want to make sure that it's disclosed that a lot of what I'm going to say out of my mouth from the future is going to come from, and I mean, I thought most are aware that it's going to come from my studies, specifically dealing with Prophet Ujrali, the Zodiac, Constitution, and you guys, you know what I mean? So a lot of times when I'm saying things, it's I know that it's apropos for what we're doing. Yeah, I might be speaking ahead too much. Do you know what I'm saying? I might be saying too much. That's all I'm saying.
Hassan, can I ask you a question? Does your position have anything to do, in the name of directness, with the brother who made the comment about, you know, that do with their things in your face that are hidden in plain sight, that this is an adept, that you'll be brought to know in later what we're really doing, versus being specific to say, here's what we want. Did that bother you? Did that make you step back? I asked the question directly.
No, there's no bothering.
Okay, did that help you feel your opinion right now?
I have clarity now of how I should conduct myself when I come here. That's all I'm saying.
Wow, got it. I got it. Damn.
So
I'm like, is this because we're being recorded?
But I can feel where you're coming from, because I have more clarity now that since I've passed the day has went on as it went, and I have a little bit more clarity on our direction where we're going and what should be. And so, like I say again, it's duly noted, and I've listened to you online because you come to class all the time, and you know when they post up the classes and you give your connotations. I mean not connotations. You voice your opinion, and I'm always taking notes. So things that you say and have done and are showing and expressing is definitely duly noted and needed.
Islam.
If you feel that you are maybe don't want to, so to speak, like how you put it, run with it. Brother, we want you to.
Right.
We want you to do your job.
I'll see right here. I just don't want to be ahead of the game. I'll just wait.
Run the
Right.
sprint, take off.
The
We're
stuff
not far behind you.
the stuff is crashing around us, and you're talking about, you want to be slow, this.
No, I don't. I just don't want. I don't want anybody else's progress being messed up.
Don't
worry.
Come on, man. Let's
On the record, for the record, let the record reflect and show, man. Acknowledge the floor. Brother Sam, this is for the record. You came in here with one perception, share with the group as we close what that perception was, and then now, after receiving it, how has that changed? Because that's your general position. Can you do that just for clarity, for the record?
Because I had agreed, I know I spoke with you briefly, Mother Delilah, I was like, I thought I wanted to get ready because I thought we was going to define, because Brother Troy had bring up defining each one. I thought we was going to go in there, but once I saw what the time was and what it was, I just wanted to just, I guess, hurry up and get in some ideas that I thought would assist in encouraging everyone. Once I heard, certain things that I know that I actually do may not be what's wanted in this particular form, that's when I had to kind of go, okay, hold on. Maybe I have to have a different kind of conduct. Because I'm just being myself, but now I have to, I want to modify that so everybody's feeling comfortable.
But you ain't giving us a chance. You're not giving us a chance to feel what you're talking about. You're not giving us the energy that you have. All right?
Okay, I thought I was, but when it was said we were just looking for committee people to be on, I was like, oh, okay.
Well, I mean, you got more energy than just that. Come on.
Okay.
I expect you to be bringing people in. I expect for you, like the community outreach, and for everyone here to be building these different platforms. The same way you're telling me, I don't think the knowledge I have in the adepts of this, and this will help. How won't it?
You don't know that.
How won't, when you know, help anything?
So we're not looking for committee leaders, we're just looking for committee members.
At the moment, yes. Right now, we're taking on the roles of leader because we don't have as many people as we need to, but okay, you guys did miss the beginning of this. So in the beginning, we talked about the Zodiac and the Adept and how each one of us is going to take a position now that may be switched out later for someone who's more qualified based on Zodiac to be in that spot. There's certain people who should be in governmental principles and services. They're usually Libras. Or military, they're usually Aries. He's a Mufti, he's an Aries, it works. That position actually, where he's at home in his position, okay? And taking on these roles right here, right now, that's not necessarily where you're gonna be stuck at the rest of your life on this committee for this and this and that. Right now, we just gotta get our foot in the door and get it started though. And if at any point in this you feel as though you cannot help us in that, you're wrong. And I'll be the first to tell you.
Well, I just want to say I'm going to communicate a certain way that's myself, so I don't mean to offend anybody.
Bring it.
All
You're
right.
talking to the people who choose to be.
Let's do it, man. Praise Allah. It's time. Let's go. You got the floor.
Take off right.
Come on, son. Come on out.
Yourself.
Come on out, brother.
To do what?
It's all good. I love you. Come on out.
Yourself, and you're being yourself, and I love you.
Yeah, well, let's do it.
Islam, I love you.
There will be people who will.
He got something to say. Go ahead, son.
No, I said I love you
What
as
you've
well.
done for me, man, is just, from helping me.
No, I mean, all praises to the mommy. I'm not looking for any titles or
I
anything.
know, but I'm just saying,
I want to
me
continue.
to you, I love you, man, because you really helped me.
Islam. All
A
praises.
lot of people out there might not want that type of help.
Yeah.
But there are those of us that suck it up like a sponge.
Islam.
And those of us who benefited from your help, certainly, and our emphasis.
Yes.
No question about that.
Yes.
So come on out with it, man. We know who you are. You're a great guy. So come on out with some truth and help Mother Delilah, because she up there looking confused.
Yes.
I mean, that's what I'm here. You guys know that if I can be myself, I can flow.
We accept you.
Flow,
I don't
brother.
want to offend anybody while I'm doing
We
that.
accept you.
right.
I'll say it 10 more times.
Come on and flow, man. We got it. Go, flow,
You got the
go.
double water there.
Not only do we accept you, we stand by you.
Yes.
And we are here with you.
All praises to God. I'm with you
Here he
guys.
come, here he come.
And we are with you. Accept
I mean,
that.
I came up here on a ball bearing that I just prayed that don't pray. Trust me, you already know what my situation is, my land conveyance. So it's just like, that's why I was so excited to me, and then it's like, once I heard it, I was like, okay, hold on.
You touched a little bit on this in that class. You stood up and you spoke what we did last Consular.
No, I mean, I'll praise the mommy.
And you touched a little bit on that, and we were I kind of got a inkling like, well, I know you don't want to feel like you're overstepping.
Right.
That was such a great class. Did you ever go to the archive and look at yourself? And look back? Man, that was such a brilliant class.
Yeah.
So much was, yeah.
That was my clarion call, you know, because unity, because nobody was sitting in it. Finally, people start sitting in there questioning.
But let me say this, guys. Let's not interrupt. Let's yield the floor. Hassan, please, man, come on.
Oh, I'm good. I just wasn't trying to make a spectacle. I was trying to I'm trying to be clear. That's all. I'm not trying to create anything, but being clear. I don't want nobody being upset or offended. I was observing what was taking place, and I wanted to make sure that I'm in with bounds. That's it. That's it.
All right, so it's what is it, 4:42?
Yeah, so a bi-weekly report would be due on May 20th, which would be 2 weeks from today from each committee and/or committee head.
And then the other thing, are we going to meet monthly, quarterly, you know, in terms of, you know, pulling all this stuff in, you know? I don't know. I guess partly, you know, urgency, because like we don't want to go sine die, all right? You know, we want to, you know, keep on coming back, you know, in terms of doing governmental principles. So, you know, well, that can be another question that, you know, we can table that and figure out once some of these reports come in, you know, as to, you know, what we're doing, and that might determine the urgency that we might need to meet again sooner than later, all right?
Can we set another meeting date, though, before we leave? Whether we
Absolutely.
the frequency of it, okay, we can define. But we got to set it. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Sammy.
It's for
No, I just right. I did that when you did the last meeting. And emailed you an ephemeris and everything.
Yes. All right, based on the
keep doing those ephemerises. Make sure you get that information to Isaiah so he can put it in the press and it gets out to the people, not just in your Friday text messages, but your everyday messages as we get our people to wake up and realize it's not Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Out here.
All right.
Yeah.
So any more questions? Any more positions? Any more expoundments? Any more thoughts? Closing thoughts before we? I'm trying to keep it within the bounds of starting, you know, like it says, you know, all meetings are to be open and closed promptly according to the Circle 7 and love, true peace, freedom, and justice, you know. I want to keep it in that light, all right? So, and I don't want to hold people longer. And brother, I want you to get back on the road, you know, because, you know, you got the ball bearing, so I don't want you, you know. I'm sending you with grace, so I'm sending you with love.
That's long.
So I know you're gonna make it back anyway, but I just, you know, want you to be out there in the daylight rather than, you know, night time.
So can we take a vote now on whether we're gonna meet monthly or bi-monthly as a whole? All those in favor of monthly, and we can decide after that on first or second, third week of the month. Everyone is aye for monthly? Aye. Everybody monthly?
Aye, it's carried.
So with monthly, all we have to decide is first week, second week, third week. First week is pretty convenient, or last week, because it's easier to remember instead of trying to figure out the first or the third week of the month. So first or last month, first or last week of the month.
Let's consult with Sister Nyla too, because we don't want to wait.
That's what I was going to say. That
Okay.
and the last meeting we just had with the last one, the anniversary, that was during I think you had a new moon happen. That was a new moon. So I tried to, you know, I mean, when you was like looking at a month later, we was trying to keep going for that, I guess that new moon energy or whatever. So now I think we're 3 weeks out instead of 2, because that was on the 20 what? That we met.
No, the 15th, because that was the anniversary.
15th. And I was saying the 29th we should have met, because the moon would have been in Scorpio at that moment. And we would have had that meeting. But it's something else.
If we need to fit one more into this month, we can.
It's something else.
At the end.
But like I said, we still have to consult with Dr. Nyla.
I mean, yeah, we get a general consensus, and if it works,
utilities
and
stuff like that.
Along those lines, and maybe not to wear it out here, maybe we can even do something in Baltimore sometime.
As long as,
or re-conference call in or video in. It works.
Or come on down.
Come on down.
Come on down.
Yeah, the price is right.
I asked you guys, I mean, transportation's open for my second floor. Like I said, I have chalkboard, computers, tools and stuff.
We all go around.
I lack a land conveyance.
Yeah, we would like a land conveyance.
Well, I could come get you guys from wherever you get to if you catch a train. Well, I mean, that's going to get fixed soon, but you know, I mean,
Yeah. I think we combine transportation. I know we run out of time, but I just wanted to throw this up there real quick about like for a van, because he actually rented a van and we've been using that to pick. He picked the people up. So like just throwing that out there for the next meeting. But then also for everybody contact information so I can have your.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. Make sure before we leave out of here, everybody gives your contact, cell phone number, email, you know, all that stuff, so that we can, and she'll put it in there, and then we'll have the stuff. All right, Islam? All right. So with that, I think we've concluded all our business. I think we had a very good, productive meeting, and I'm trusting that, you know, this will continue so that we can, you know, do the grand jury and have our signatures on the document so that, you know, they know we're back in business. We're back in business. We're doing governmental principles. So with that, peace, love, and happiness. You know, but anyway, let's close with the Moorish prayer. All right, Islam. All right. Islam. Allah, the Father of the universe.
Allah, the Father of the universe.
Father of love.
Father of love. Truth. Peace. Freedom.
And justice. Allah is my protector.
Allah is my protector.
My guide.
My God.
And my salvation.
And my salvation.
By night
And by day.
His holy prophet.
Holy prophet.
True Ali.
True Ali.
Amen.
Amen. Ra.